On February 9, 2004, Moore Murray emailed her employer and professors that she was taking a week off for a family emergency, though no such emergency existed. She then crashed her car around 7 p.m. in Woodsville, New Hampshire. A bus driver returning home saw the crash and stopped. He reported seeing a young woman, not visibly bleeding but cold and shivering, who asked him not to contact the police. Since he did not have cell phone service, he continued home and called the police from there. When the police arrived, the car was abandoned, and Moore was nowhere to be found. Despite an extensive search, neither her nor her body have ever been discovered. In 2012, on the 8th anniversary of her disappearance, a YouTube user named Mr. 112 Dirtbag started uploading strange videos, seemingly linked to Moore's disappearance. The first video featured an older man with glasses laughing for nearly a minute. He stops abruptly and then winks before the words "Happy Anniversary" appear on screen. The next video, titled Moore Murray, features a ski pass to Breton Hills Mountain Resort. The date on the pass reads February 11, 2004, 2 days after Moore went missing. The resort is less than an hour away from where Moore vanished in 2004. No charges have been filed against the man to date. Genie is a pseudonym given to a feral child whose father decided to isolate her completely, starting when she was 20 months old. From then until she was 13 years, 7 months old, she was locked alone in her room. She was kept strapped to a child's toilet or bound in her crib for the majority of the time, and she was extremely malnourished. She couldn't talk and was still in diapers when she was discovered by social workers. Genie was extensively studied by psychologists. Though she made initial progress with learning language and behavior, she eventually regressed. She has spent most of her life in foster homes and institutions for the disabled. Genie is now a ward of the state of California. On August 21, 1955, 12 residents of Christian County, Kentucky, near Kelly and Hopkinsville, encountered what they described as humanoid creatures, between 3 and 4 feet tall. They had huge glowing eyes, large bat-like ears, and talons on the end of their fingers. The startled residents shot at the creatures with a 12-gauge shotgun and .22 rifle, but they were unable to ward off the unknown intruders. Eventually, they took refuge in the house for the night. They went to the police station the next day, and though no physical evidence of the creatures were found, the stories were all well corroborated. During World War II, Unit 731 was a covert Japanese research facility for biological and chemical warfare. Located in Manchuria, China, the facility conducted horrific human experimentation. Experiments included injections of plague and typhoid, as well as vivisection. None of the subjects survived. No one was prosecuted during the Tokyo tribunals at the end of the war, and the crimes against humanity were largely ignored. Hoeryong concentration camp is a political prison camp located in North Korea. It is a maximum security area where prisoners and their families are held in lifelong detention. Prisoners are regarded as subhuman slaves and subjected to forced labor. Human rights violations occur daily and include water torture, hanging torture, box room torture, kneeling torture, pigeon torture, and more. Thousands of prisoners died of starvation when the prison was allegedly closed in 2012, but other evidence indicates that the camp may still be operational. On December 6, 2009, Susan Powell disappeared. That same night, her husband Josh Powell claims that he was camping with his 2 sons. Josh was named a person of interest in the investigation, but never formally charged with anything. Then, on February 5, 2012, after losing a custody battle with Susan's parents, Gosch killed himself and his 2 sons in a murder-suicide. Susan's disappearance remains unsolved, and the active case was closed in 2013. On March 25, 1975, Catherine Mary Lyon, age 10, and Sheila Mary Lyon, age 12, were on their way to a shopping mall when they disappeared. Despite an extensive search, it wasn't until 2013 that the police were able to make any progress in the case. In 2015, Lloyd Lee Welch was indicted, and his uncle listed as a person of interest. The girls' bodies have never been found, though Welch's cousin told detectives that in 1975, Welch asked him to help burn 2 large, heavy duffel bags that had a strong, terrible odor and were covered in what appeared to be bloodstains. The Copcrafts Illusion is a disorder in which a person holds a delusion that a friend, spouse, parent, or other close family member or pet has been replaced by an identical-looking imposter. One case report even detailed a 74-year-old woman who believed her husband had been replaced by another unrelated man. She wouldn't sleep with him and actually asked for a gun. The Phantom Time hypothesis alleges that the period of time between 614 and 911 AD was added in retroactively, and that events that happened during this time occurred at different points in history or didn't happen at all. Johnny Gosch was 12 years old when he disappeared during his paper route on September 5, 1982. He was assumed kidnapped, and his mother, Noreen, maintained that he was still alive. She said that he had been seen in Oklahoma a few months after he disappeared, when a boy was seen yelling for help before he was dragged away by 2 men. The creepiest part, though, happened 15 years later, when Noreen claims to have been woken at around 2:30 a.m. one night in 1997 by a knock at her door. When she opened it, a 27-year-old Johnny was standing there with a man she didn't know. They talked for around an hour and a half, and she never saw him again. In 2014, a documentary titled Who Took Johnny premiered at the Slam Dance Festival and is currently available on Netflix.